It's sanding day again.
Who knows what I'm gonna find.
Oh boy, I hope I didn't make a mistake.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 60 of turning our dilapidated, moldy old 100-year-old house into our home. I can't start this video without saying if you missed last week's episode, you might see something today that shocks you. I actually haven't been to the casa this week. We were able to get the floor sander from our neighbor. Hal has been working hard every night after work getting those floors sanded, so we're headed over to go check that out, and you're gonna see it for the first time with me. I've also been getting some questions about the name of the casa and why it keeps changing. It was Casa Marie, now it's Casa 1923, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. The name might also be changing again. We're also gonna have a quick update on that new project that we're working on upstairs, but first let's check in with Hal and see how the floors are going. How's it going?
We're getting through it. About 2 days now. Well, 2 half days of sanding. So it's sanding day again. I just got the sander last night, and I am going to start with 36 grit sandpaper. I think that should be good. I did use 60 on the belt sander when I was prepping the floors, and that did a really good job. So I'm going to start with that 36 and just see what happens. I hope it's not too much. I don't think it is, because from what I've researched, this orbital sander isn't as aggressive as a drum sander. And this finish is coming off really easy. So these orbital sanders are better for finish removal versus, really tearing up a layer to smooth things out. So let's get started. I'm going to get started. So far, I think the 36 is working really well. Let me show you. Okay, so here it is. You can see what I've done so far. Just this quick little pass. And that's what I did earlier with the belt sander. All right, I'm gonna hit it, get started, and hopefully get this room done relatively quickly. I think this is gonna go fast. I'm excited. All right, so I just did my first pass. I ended up switching up to the 20 grit, and oh boy, I hope I didn't make a mistake. I swept some of this away, and being an orbital, there's definitely a bunch of swirls. So I'm gonna go up to 36 grit, make another pass, and then 60 grit. And we'll see how it goes. Vacuum's not taking a whole lot. I mean, there's definitely some in there. So I'm gonna sweep up first, and then I'll make another pass. Did I mention I'm allergic to oak? Yeah, so I'm probably gonna keep that respirator on the whole time, and I'm gonna try not to touch any of this dust. So I'm gonna keep gloves and respirator on. I did take an antihistamine before I got started, and I hope that's gonna carry me through, but I'm probably gonna feel pretty bad tomorrow morning. Or tonight when I go to sleep. If I go to sleep, maybe I'll just stay here all night. Sanding floors. This is looking pretty good.
Let's go see how they look. Wow, these look so different. So bright up here. This looks so good. It looks so bright. This is like a different room.
Yeah. So the camera does pick up the dark spots a lot more than in person with the human eye. But you can see how they used the drum sander on this floor, and not knocking their work. This floor is just really uneven. And so you get that cupping through there. I have started going back over with the belt sander to get some of that out. I'm also using a little palm sander in the corners to get that cleaned up. So this was just the few passes with the orbital, the big sander that we have that was 20 grit, 36, and then 60. So now I've just got to kind of clean it up a little bit.
The floors in the baby's room have also been sanded, so let's go take a look at that.
So this floor is actually a little more level. I think it sanded up better. There is a few places for me to go over again, and then obviously all the way around where the previous people that finished the floor, where the drum, you can see where the drum sander hit, and there's a bit of a divot right here. So I got to go all the way around the room and smooth all that out.
It's looking really good though.
Yeah, and I think we'll test a little spot of poly and see if it kind of blends that, so I don't have to meticulously go over every streak.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Save me days of work.
I just can't get over how bright it is upstairs now that these have been sanded and all that dark stain is gone.
Looks like a totally different house.
It looks so much better.
It's so different.
Now for our nursery update. Last week we showed you briefly a couple colors that we were considering for this room, and we're really excited to put this room together. We know exactly what we want for it. So there isn't any room for suggestion in this particular room, but we are excited to share our design with you. So this color is a color that we had originally picked for one of the rooms downstairs, and then we remembered that we didn't use it and we had a gallon of it. So we thought, let's test it in this room. And then this color is the color that you saw us paint our laundry room ceiling last week. So we love both of these, but we are going to be going with this one. It might look a little bit neutral on camera, but it's really pretty in person. And for those of you who are afraid that the baby's not going to have any color in her life, that's not really a worry at all. Eventually, my plan is to paint a mural on this wall. I don't really have time for that, probably in the next month and a half. But at some point when she moves into this room, then there will be a really pretty mural here for her. And then this color, we really loved this one too. And we have just enough left after painting the laundry room ceiling that we can paint her closet. So that's the plan for that color.
Yeah, and then there's an additional plan to remodel that closet, and you'll see that further down the line.
Yeah, it's a really cute design, and we're excited to get to that also when we have time. We also wanted to take a minute to say thank you to everybody who contributed to our nursery last week from our Amazon wish list. We were blown away at the packages that arrived at our house. And
so many people, so many packages.
Yeah, we got baby carriers, swaddles, some clothes, some pacifiers, everything that we need to really have when she comes home. So it was a really great start to the nursery. And if you don't see your name on the list here, it's because we didn't receive a note with every package. So be sure to let us know if you sent us something and you don't see your name here, because we do want to say thank you. We also wanted to give a really big thank you to Karen N, who started our parental leave fund over on PayPal. That is just super helpful because we both want to spend as much time as we can home from work with her when she's born. I just stepped outside to talk to you for a second because Hal went back to sanding upstairs and it's pretty loud in there. But I wanted to give you a quick update on the Etsy store and the rest of the treasures that we are sorting through. So one of my tasks today is to continue cleaning up our studio space because it still needs to be primed, and then the floors need to have a really good cleaning, which we would love to have that room cleaned up before we move in, because even if we're just going to use it as a storage room while we try and sort everything out, it would be great to have that room clean and empty. So I'm going to be working on that. And I also wanted to thank everybody who has bought stuff from our Etsy shop this week. We've been open for 2 weeks now and we've sold quite a few things. And then I've also gotten some messages from people about things that they've seen in our videos that haven't made it to the Etsy shop yet. So I did want to mention, if there's something that you saw in a video and you haven't seen it in the shop, then you can always email us too, because with everything going on, it's taking me a little bit longer than I thought. We had a couple setbacks this week, so I didn't get everything listed in the shop, but we do have it available. So if there's something in particular that you're interested in, just shoot us an email and we can let you know if we still have it or not. And that goes for things I'll be showing you in this video too, because I'm going to go try and tackle that studio a little bit more, and who knows what I'm going to find. Okay, sorry if you can hear the sander in the background, but I just wanted to show you what the before of the studio is looking like right now. Hal did spend some time in here this week, So let's take a look at what he did.
So in an effort to make more room in the studio, I'm bringing all the tools and paint supplies and everything and moving it down to the basement. Let me show you what I did. All right, first off, I painted everything. Saw me painting. I sprayed everything with a mold primer to get this room ready, smelling better. And then I started moving all the stuff. We have our plaster work, some tile, all that kind of stuff, the cleaners stationed over here, and all of our paint and paint supplies over here. And I'm really happy with the way the primer came out with using the sprayer. I got a good coat on there. It's making this room a lot more habitable. So it's smelling great down here. And next step is to get these stairs sanded and painted. But for now, I gotta finish the floors in the house.
My goal is to kind of finish organizing anything that's in here. If there are any more tools and things like that, then we can have him bring those down to the basement. And then if there's anything left in here for the Etsy shop, I'll find that and get it cleaned up. And wish me luck, because this is a mess.
All right, another test of the poly, and it's looking great. So I was really worried about these divots here. There was a big one right here, and I just brushed a little bit on, and it faded, it blended right in. So I'm really happy about that, which means this room is done, as far as I'm concerned. I'll eventually come back through with a tack cloth before I roll the poly, but I can finish up sanding the finer touches in the other room in the hallway, and then we'll roll some poly. I'm not actually gonna roll the poly. I'm using one of those sheepskin applicators.
Okay, I'm back outside again because Hal is still inside working hard sanding the floors. It's a little noisy in there. So I'm gonna show you just a few things that I found in the studio. I'm not gonna go through as many as we did last week, but let me know if you like seeing these treasures. We are finding more and more every week as we go through and put them on our Etsy shop. So let us know if it's something that you like us to include in the video. First up, this cute teapot, vintage teapot with rosebud motif. There's even little rose hips in the design that are so cute. This is adorable. I particularly like it because of our rose bush here at Casa 1923. I found this little Lenox bud vase. Really pretty and cute. And these two little miniature cobalt blue porcelain vases. These were in the bookshelf, the built-in bookshelf. So if you remember that video, you might remember us taking these out of there. All three of those items will be headed to the Etsy shop. So if you want to bring one of them home, go check that out. I wanted to talk a little bit about the house's name. Some of you who asked, is it Casa Marie? Is it Casa 1923? Why do we have multiple names for this house? And that kind of goes along with these treasures that we have been unearthing again and that are making their way to Etsy. So when we first bought the house, we started calling it Casa Marie. Actually, before we even closed on the house, we started calling it Casa Marie because it was Marie's house. And then even after we closed on it, it was still completely full of her things. So it very much still felt like Marie's house. But Marie was not the only owner of the house. She lived here for about 30 years, but there was a family who lived here before her. So we didn't want to call it Casa Marie forever. And once we got her things out, the house really did take on a completely different feel. And so we started calling it Casa 1923, which was a little bit more of a neutral name as we started feeling like the house was more of our home and we were the ones working on it and restoring it. So we moved to Casa 1923. Now, as we're getting close to moving in, hopefully very soon, we have been thinking about giving it a third and final name for our stay here at the Casa. We do have an idea of what we might be calling it. We're not completely sure yet what that name will be. But that is something that is coming up, hopefully in the very near future, when we move in and this house becomes our home.
All right, I gave the floor a final sand with 120, and now it's really smooth. And I've been testing in the closet here. I polyed this and then basically buffed it with the 120, and it's looking really good.
Don't mind my puffy feet, but this floor feels amazing. I can't wait till the whole house is like this. Okay, I don't know if you can even tell that I have been working in this room because it is still such a mess, but I did get 2 large garbage bags out of here and been sorting through a bunch of other small stuff, but I'm tired. So I'm gonna go home and get this video edited, and then we'll see you next Monday at 8 a.m. to see if Hal finishes polyurethaning the upstairs and if I get this room clean.